Comic book addicts, it's Joe from Black Box Silver and Bronze, and this one's going to be a quick one. I got an A-OK from Night Tiger and some comic book pickups from this weekend. Let's see what I got. All right, comic addicts, I got a little stack of books here from the Night Tiger.
Never know what you're missing.
So let's get into it. First, he sent me a copy of Wizard magazine. This is number 2 from October 1991. I've never ever had one of these before, so it's going to be interesting to see what that is all about. And he gave me this comic book collecting and a Overstreet guide, evaluation guide by Robert Overstreet. And so this is the first issue from 1989. And I looked through this and it looks just like a comic book price guide, but it's just smaller. It's got a bunch of listings, probably of maybe the most popular comics with their prices and by grades, just like you would see in a comic book price guide. So that's pretty cool. And then he sent me this, Ms. Tree. This is the giant 50th issue. And this is the last issue. It's from July 1989. And it has inside it a, right here, it says flexi disc. So there's one of those, do you remember those like 45 size records that you could get that were like on a flimsy piece of kind of plastic? There's one of them in here. And there's a bunch of like one-page pinups of her by all different artists. There's a Jack Kirby page and just a bunch of different artists. So this is really cool. He gave me a couple of issues of comics just to fill in some holes in my run. Captain Marvel number 49. And Avengers 183. These were just 2 he had extras of, and I didn't have these, so now I do. Thanks, Mike. And then if you watch his channel, he recently picked up a bunch of Bronze Age horror comics, and he had some doubles. So he sent me this one, House of Secrets, number 102. And House of Secrets, number 111. These are some great covers. And Witching Hour, number... oh, I can't see. It's got, someone wrote with a marker over it, but an issue of Witching Hour. This is cool. This is a trope you see on a lot of these DC horror comics from this time period, is someone coming through the door and there's some kind of like skeleton or creepy person on the other side of it. So that was pretty cool. And he sent me a couple of train covers. So Kid Colt Outlaw number 156. I did not have this one. This is really cool with the train going off the rails there. And Justice Traps the Guilty from February, March 1958. I don't see the number on here, but it's a 10-cent comic. Another great train cover. And this one's pretty cool. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, number 70. So this is the first appearance of Silver Kryptonite. But it turns out that it's not really Kryptonite. It's fake. Jimmy's saying it's Silver Kryptonite because I think it's like a surprise party or a birthday party for Superman. They're trying to keep him away. So they come up with this Silver Kryptonite to keep him out of that room. And it turns out that later in Batman, Superman Batman from April of 2008 is when the Silver Kryptonite, the real Silver Kryptonite, appears. And guess what the effect of Silver Kryptonite is? The effects of Silver Kryptonite on Superman is to make him lethargic, hungry, and hallucinogenic. So basically like marijuana, I think.
Wait, did you hear the bell? Did we get to school? What bell? We're here. Oh, come on,
So that's really cool. That's Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. So Mike, thanks for those. Those are some great comics. And then I just all wanted to share with you the comics that I picked up this weekend. I was busy this weekend, but on Sunday I had some time. So I ran out and hit 3 different comic shops on the island that I hadn't been to in a while. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I was traveling a lot recently. So I just didn't have time to hit these shops. So I hit them and I picked a couple of things up. So the first one is actually a new comic. It's called The Pentagram of Horror. And if you like horror, you should check this out. It's pretty good. It's going to be a 5-issue anthology series. So each issue is like a standalone story. But this one is about somebody who sells his soul to the devil and the repercussions of, when you have to pay back what you get for it. But I want to show you, like, in particular, I love the art in here. One of the comics I've told you about before is Blood Realm, which is done in like blacks and whites and reds. And this is similar. There's a little, I don't know, tan or kind of gold tones in it, but it's all like blacks and whites and reds with these kind of brownish tan tones. But take a look at, I'm going to put a close-up of this guy's face here and take a look at that. It really looks to me a lot like the pre-code horror covers of like EC Comics, like all those faces with the bulging eyes and, the nooses and the axes and all that. The style in here really evokes that. And it's just some great, look at this claw. And there's a couple of what do you call it? These splash pages that have some really great art on it. If I could find the one I was thinking of, look at this. And there was another one. It was like a 2-page. Look at this. There also a little bit of like kind of blue in it, like when there's some shocking stuff. But this is really cool. It's not cheap. It's $5.99. But I actually think it's worth it. I saw this. There were 2 copies on the shelf left, and I grabbed it. Here's the back. And I think it's really cool. So I'm going to keep getting that. It runs for 5 issues. It is a little more pricey than other new comics, but it's pretty cool if you like horror. And then the other thing I got at this shop was an issue of Scary Tales. And I like my Charlton kind of horror and suspense. This is interesting. This is Scary Tales number 40. And it's not really looking like a horror, is it? It's called The Dragon Force. And I really like this for a couple of reasons. One, it's a very sci-fi looking cover. I like sci-fi looking covers. 2, it's got all those helicopters on it. And I was a helicopter pilot in the Navy, so I like seeing helicopters. Get to the chopper! And 3, it reminds me of a cartoon that I used to watch in the like late 70s or the early 80s.
Battle of the Planets.
And they have some Battle of the Planet comic books. I didn't realize this, but I looked it up, and they have some Battle of the Planet comic books. So here's number 1, and it goes for some really big bucks. But there was, I think, about 10 or 12 of them. And then they did Alex Ross did some covers and art for a Battle of the Planet story, which is more recent in the early 2000s, which has some great covers. I just found out about them, so I'm going to be hunting them down. But I picked that one up. That's really cool. What do you think about that one? I think that's a really cool cover. Then at the other shop I hit, I just talked to the owner, Brian, and was looking at some new books he put up. He got a new collection in, but most of the books that he put up, I already had. Actually, all of them I already had. But I dug through his dollar bin, and I found this in the dollar bin. And this is Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme number 50. And this is one of those 90s gimmick covers. And what is it says up here? It's a giant-sized extravaganza. Okay, and this is actually a first appearance of the Secret Defenders. This makes its first appearance in here. But the reason I got this was because of this prismatic cover. In my opinion, this is one of the best uses of gimmicks. I love it. I don't think it's great art, but it's a great use of the prismatic effect and a gimmick cover, because if you remember, like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whenever Doctor Strange and the other sorcerers were doing their magic, they're spinning their hands in circle like this and getting that fire circle, right? And that's basically what you see right there. So I think this is a great 90s gimmick cover. I would say of the ones I'm aware about, I'd put that in the top 10. It's actually a good use of the gimmick. So then at the last shop I was at, actually it was the first one I went to, but I'm showing the comics last. I got this. This is Morbius number 12. This is another 90s gimmick cover. It's got this black covering to it. If you flip it open, the front cover is there without the masthead, but you see a nice, piece of artwork there. But what's cool here, I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but if you turn it over, it kind of looks like an envelope. That upside down? No. Okay. Kind of looks like an envelope with a stamp there. So that's pretty cool. And that was only a couple of bucks. And then I found an issue of Super Friends number 41, also for just a couple of dollars. And so two of these kind of like children's series that I like to pick up when I find them. From DC is the Super Friends, and from Marvel is Spidey Super Stories. And take a look at that cover. Does that remind you of something? It reminds me of something. I'm going to put it in right here. What do you think? A little bit like X-Men 100? I think so. Okay, and the last comic I got, it could be a big comic, but this particular one is in really, really horrible shape. One of the worst shaped comics I've ever seen, but I grabbed it anyway because it was only a couple of dollars. And what they say here in Hawaii, when something is beat up, they say it's bust up, bust up. So this comic is Bust Up. This is Weird War Tales number 93, which is the first appearance of the Creature Commandos. It's a Joe Kubert cover, and this thing is really in bad shape. This corner is a dog-eared and about like split about halfway. That's not going to stay on too much longer if this gets handled. It's all folded, and there's tears and holes all over the place. And up here, I don't know how well it shows up in the video, but right up through here, I tried cleaning it up a little bit with an eraser, but it looks like somebody was eating a Snickers bar and got chocolate on their hand, or they spilled chocolate milk on it, because it's like really kind of like brown through here. And I erased off as much as I could to try to improve the appearance of it. I hope that I can find a better copy of this one day. It's the first appearance of the Creature Commandos, which I think is a really cool comic. So that's it. Just a quick video sharing some comics that I got from the Night Tiger and some that I picked up myself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, comic addicts. Bye-bye.